Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Sunday night here and it has been a long week. So I wanted to first update you and kind of explain how I've been consuming the content that we've been given each week. This week was a big one. We had, I don't even know, 14 hours of content to listen to. We were listening to Paul Cantor's series on culture and commerce and how the two are connected and how they worked together. And he really spent a lot of time debunking the myth of how we perceived these great artists, these people in the past, Michelangelo, William Shakespeare, all these guys that we have always thought of as the pure artists. They did it solely for the sake of art and not to make money necessarily. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I wanted to say that the way I consume this content is I listen to it at work. So I'm at work, I got my headphones on and I'm walking around. I don't have a lot of room for notes. And so the things that stuck out to me are the big, broad ideas, the things that I thought about all day after I was done listening to the podcast. These are things that stuck with me, things that I pondered about over the past few minutes, not minutes, hours. So anyway, some of the main points that I understood from it was that, as I said before, that these great artists weren't necessarily only in it for art. They did it so they could make a living. William Shakespeare made plays about one every 6 months to a year because we think he had contracts. He wanted to make money, he had to produce. He was a shareholder in his acting company, and he made money from it. And I think that's really something that we never thought of. We thought, wow, these artists, they did it because they love the art. But actually, their creativity was often driven by their desire to be wealthy. And so that's not the point that I want to make. I'm not trying to say that our desire for wealth is holy and it drives us to do great art. But I think competition and capitalism and having an incentive to create great things, beautiful things, leads us to create some of the best things. As we can see in the past 100 years in American history, because of capitalism, because of the freedom of our markets, we have developed technology that has never before been seen on the face of the planet. It was capitalism that gave us the iPhone. It was capitalism that gave us the Windows computer. It was capitalism that gave us Hamlet, Shakespeare's plays. The incentive to create a new, better thing, to impress people, to better one's station in this world, has led to some of the greatest creations we've ever had. And so that brings me to my next point. I wanted to talk about culture versus pop culture. And oftentimes we think pop culture is something that we shouldn't be into. We're not interested in it. Well, back in Shakespeare's day, going to one of his plays, that was for the groundlings, that was for the common folk. You would never imagine that someone who was reading Shakespeare's plays then and watching them then would be studying them in university in Oxford today, or Charles Dickens. No, you never expect, the people that in his day would have never expected us to be studying his works. So I think that's a really interesting thing that we can kind of be excited about, is what is our pop culture today could be our culture in the future. So we have to be excited about the new ideas that are coming, the experimentalism of it all. And I think that as we try to focus on what is happening in this world, what is happening into our culture, and try to stay up with it, that we'll be really excited with the things that we see. And that as we're driven by capitalism, as we're driven to find the new greatest thing, to improve our station, to improve the world around us, that the human race is capable of accomplishing great works of art, great acts of technology, and really just better the world around us. So that's all for today. It's been a long week and I hope you guys had a good one. We'll see you later.